Hi, everybody. I'm going to run through real quick how to, and of course, hi, everybody. I'm going to run through today's assignment, which is the correctives for Unit 1. So if you follow along with me here, right now I'm showing you this is our weekly agenda. And on Tuesday, it says there is a Unit 1 corrective day. If not retesting, you have a free day. You can work ahead, whatever you'd like. But if you're not retesting, taking any of the retests, then you have nothing to do. If you did not do Monday's agenda, again, feel free to go back and take those notes on page 10. If you haven't, the video for tomorrow, the Ed Puzzle video and continuing the notes on page 11 is up and running now, so you could do that. But I'm going to go through what the corrective day is. So once you click on this Unit 1 corrective day, this page will pop up. The first link here, this is the link to the instructions. The second link is a PDF to the actual corrective assignment. These last two links are the root tables that you can use if you are going to be doing the corrective to do the retakes for the root summatives. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is show you what the instructions look like and then go to the actual corrective. So the instructions page, if you click on that, it brings you to this, okay? And there's a couple things to notice. This dashed text box here shows you probably the most important things that you should have accomplished. If these things aren't in, please turn them in. So the goal here is to show you that like these 6 things are the most important things that we did for the unit to review the terms that we learned. So if you didn't do those things, that is probably why you need to be doing the retake. So the test is broken down into 3 sections, or the corrective, I should say. This first section is for the Unit 1, number 1 summative. There were 4 parts on that test, and there's 3 different power standard scores for that. This first one, 1.1, that was the diagram, the explanation that you had to write a little short answer for. This is on the exam. It was the question about removing the gallbladder. Here you would put your score. You do not have to fill this out. It is just recommended that you do because it'll lead you through looking at what's my score, why did I do so bad, and then what do I need to accomplish on the corrective in order to take the retake. So this is one of the scores I entered last night. And then if you were to do the retake, you need to do page 4, number 1, and number 2 on the corrective sheet, which I'll show you in a second. The second part, PS 1.2, this is the body cavities section and sectioning. That was on the first summative. And you'll notice there's a second 1.2 here that's on body regions. What we did was we averaged these 2 scores together. So if you got a 4 on one of these and a 3 on the other, your average was a 3.5. But as you know, Infinite Campus doesn't have decimals. So if you were lucky enough to get a 4, then your score was rounded up to a 4. If you got a 3 and a 2, your score was rounded up to a 3. If you got a 4 and a 0, your score was rounded to a 2. Okay, so you kind of see how that works. And then these are the corresponding corrective pages on the right. Okay, and then the last part was 11.1. This was the first part of the test. The directional terms like superior, inferior, proximal, distal, that sort of thing. And then the corresponding corrective pages. The second summative, that was the patient. You had a person in anatomical position with a bunch of injuries, and you had to choose which injury is the one you need to treat. That one is Power Standard 8.1, and there's 2 pages on the corrective to do for that one. The last 2 would be your root summatives that we took this unit. So if you did the formative, great. All you need to do is pick one of these things in this list to do, turn that in, and that's your corrective for the to do the retake. If you didn't do the formative, well, you need to do that now. And in addition, do the corrective part, which is basically doing it twice. Okay. You need to pick two different things to do. So if you did the formative that was in the form of a vocab table, don't choose vocab table here. Choose to make a Quizlet. Choose to do the Frayer model, which is a separate type of vocab table. It's like little boxes and squares, or make yourself some note cards. Okay. If you didn't do the formative, then you haven't done the data table yet. So you are welcome to choose vocab table here. Or if you chose to do note cards for your formative, go ahead and choose one of these other options that isn't note cards. Last but not least, I wanted to show you what that corrective assignment looks like. So again, if I'm in the assignment here, the instructions is what we just went over. The corrective is right here. I click on that link and you get this document, okay? It is 7 pages long. Again, don't have to do the whole thing. Just do the part that you need to do for the retake that you're doing. So again, this part here says you're going to do 11.1. So 11.1 is on page 1, and then the top of page 2. Okay, coloring that diagram, probably on Notability is probably your easiest way to do that. If you need to do 1.2, you're going to do the sectioning and cavities section. There's more cavities. And then there's another page for 1.2 right here. This is that body region section. So labeling this diagram. If you're going to do 1.1, that's this page here. There's 2 examples similar to the removal of the gallbladder problem that was on the test. Only this time you're looking at part of the heart and you are removing the prostate gland. Okay. So those are those 2 examples. And then lastly, if you needed to redo summative 2, which was looking at that patient again in anatomical position and choosing which injury to treat, you need to do this, which would be fill out this data table, choose the injury that you are going to treat, and then write about it here on this page. Okay. I did share in the announcements this morning a look at how I graded those 2 short answer questions, the ones where you had to type. So in summative 1, that short answer question was related to that removal of the gallbladder surgery. And so this information in like a teal was what you had to have to score a 3. And any of these answers here that I'm highlighting right now, any of those answers would have been fine for the location of the gallbladder, and then so on. Okay, for summative 2, that patient in anatomical position and choosing one of those injuries to treat, it didn't matter which injury you chose. Okay, and you didn't have to talk about things like that the person was going to bleed out or that you needed to apply pressure. You didn't have to mention any of that stuff. That's great and all, and I'm glad you took the time to look those things up, but you didn't have to do that. I was mostly looking for, do you know what the region is called? Do you know the cavity that's nearby or the cavity that might be affected by that injury? And then lastly, what direction was that injury, did that occur on the person? And that one was a little bit of wiggle room because the picture is not in 3 dimensions. And so it's really difficult to see, you know, which way that pole was sticking into him or which way the cut was made on the face. So there was a little bit of wiggle room there. As long as what you explained made sense, then I gave you the point for the plane. I also threw in some of the best student examples so you could see what the answers looked like that were 4s for this last question. So there's 4 student examples there. So you can see how they answered it. That's it. So my goal for you is to make sure that you know which parts of the corrective you need to do, and then get yourself prepared for the retakes. The retakes will open up on Friday at 12 a.m. and they close just like everything closes 11:59 on Sunday night. If you are doing the retakes but you don't turn in the corrective, you will not get your higher score. So be aware of that. You have to turn in the corrective if you want to get those higher scores on the retakes added to Infinite Campus. If you're not sure what the scores are or which part of the test you need to retake, please ask. Just shoot me an email. Come to one of these Zooms where I'm just sitting here by myself. Come to my office hours, anything, and I will read you off your scores. I can put them in the chat box in a Zoom or whatnot. So Anyway, good luck on the corrective and on the retakes. Bye.